This is this plant's first time seeing the sun, which is crazy to me that it's looking this good and it has literally never seen the sun. We're gonna talk about how we got it to grow so well, what kind of conditions it had, what kind of lights it had most importantly, because I think that's the most important key to growing a successful indoor garden. So I started out by planting some broccoli microgreens to see how well this grow light would do with growing seedlings, just little seeds when they're starting. I also tested it out with mature plants, as you'll see later on in this video. Just as a note, before I get into everything about how I grew it, my setup was not ideal. I don't have a lot of space where we're living at right now, so I just made do with what I had. I wanted to do a room where there's absolutely zero natural sunlight coming in to test the efficacy of my grow light. So don't judge me too harshly, just keep that in mind. I'm sure your setup will be much more ideal, but I was able to test this light with a room that had zero natural light and was able to see the results and have confidence in those results. Even if my setup did look a little silly, it still worked really well for growing an indoor garden. So you can see here I put them under a humidity dome. Also ignored those plants on the side. Turns out my seeds that I used didn't end up working out, so we'll be focusing on the microgreens. But they had a humidity dome, they had a warming mat underneath. I wanted to provide them with everything for success so that I could really see if this light was going to do its job, since that was the only factor I wasn't used to using. You can see here that the light, it has different settings. You can turn it up higher at 100%, down to 50 to 25%, really giving you a lot of variability with how bright you want the light. And you can see here how much of a difference it makes when you turn that light completely off. But honestly, it had a lot of different options, and the instruction booklet that the light came with gave you the exact instructions for how high the light should be at different stages so you could have the greatest amount of success. And within just a few days, you can see that the seedlings were starting to pop through. The growth was really fast. It was really even. It was nice and dark green. I was really impressed with how well it was growing. I was keeping the light on for about 18 hours a day and having it off for 6 hours. It was very consistent about watering. The only thing I would recommend that's different from my setup is having a timer plugged into your wall so you don't have to be remembering when to turn the light on and off. And you can see here just 10 days after I sowed these microgreens, they're looking great and they are ready to harvest. I just pulled off a few of them and tossed them onto my taco salad here, and it was delicious. And I'm very happy with how well the grow light did in growing these guys. So like I mentioned earlier, I wanted to try out mature plants as well as propagations. So just real quick, here are the house plants that I'm propagating. All of them did very well working under this light, had new root growth and everything. And on this other side, I have a rosemary plant that did really great as well. So it had lots of new growth, its green color maintained, and it just looked very healthy and happy. I had it under here for a few weeks and it did fine the entire time. And if you're interested in looking into this light, maybe you would like to have an indoor garden yourself, this is definitely one I would recommend. You may need a few more if you have a bigger garden than I did, but honestly, very happy with how this light did with seedlings, with mature plants, and with houseplant propagations. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.